I just like the way how like LiveJasmin is set up. And plus from like a technical perspective, like how like they have like their own filters, which everything does, but how you can sort certain things by like price and like, type and that too, which is pretty cool.
What were some of the differences between LiveJasmin and the other sites that you noticed?
I guess what it was is like kind of like the layout of it. So like on LiveJasmin, you have like your views and like where you can like select like what type of view you want, and then over to the left, you can select, you can filter that out that way. And for other sites, it's just I didn't like the layout.
What would you say is the number one benefit or value that you feel like Jasmine has brought into your life, and why you continue to come back and use it?
So here's the thing with that is it's the women that's on there that it draws me into it. So I know there's like a different variety of it, but it's just for me, the relationship that I can have with them, whether it's in free chat, whether it's in private. It's just that type of relationship I can have with the girls that are on there that keeps me there. So I don't want to try any other site. It's like I'm already like in my stubborn mind and I'm like, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay here. And because of that, because I've had that fun experience with them, it makes me why I want to stay and not move or go anywhere else.
So it sounds like you have either a couple models or maybe a model that you've really developed a strong connection with, or is maybe a
right.
favorite.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, there was one in particular, but in 2020, I got sick. So I stopped, like just everything just stopped. So she was like one of the ones that I really had like a connection to. Good thing is she's still on there. So
what is it about her that you like so much? I'm curious.
So my thing is, so this is what I do is I try to feel the vibe of the girl. So like if she's in there and she's playing like some music, especially if she's playing like some hip hop, she's playing some R&B, I'm like, okay, that got my attention right there. And then just like chatting with her, and then what was about her was like just the flirting back and forth. And I was just like, okay, I gotta take you in now. So it's just about her. It's just how witty she was. And then like the flirting back and forth that made me be like, yep, I'm choosing you. So that's why I draw myself to her.
Absolutely. Do you feel like you've been able to develop a friendship with her or a genuine connection with her?
I would say yes. So before I got like sick, then I would say yes, because it was almost like a message like every day.
Wow.
So, yep.
Okay, so tell me what that's like. Like, you have someone that you're chatting with every single day. And sometimes I'm sure seeing in private and that type of thing.
Right.
Does it feel like a girlfriend?
Yeah, I would say that when you're on here, let's just keep it 100. You're looking for a girlfriend experience.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it's not for real, like in front of your face, then yeah, of course. So it definitely feels that way. So for me, like I'm single, so like I never been married, but I think there's like a few pros to that. Is number one, you don't have to go through all the BS, right? Because when you're in person, you gotta wine and dine to get to like what you want. You know what I mean? So like you have to do that. So it's all about like impressions, and you have to go about it that way. So on here, it's very light. I think that you still need to, have that that relationship. I don't think you should just go deep in private and say, hey, how you doing? But I think you still have to do that. And plus, it's not necessarily like you can get anything that you want, because there is, levels to that. But it's like that experience of basically like asking or doing what you would want them to do in private, and 9 times out of 10 that they're able to give that to you. So, and also too, I mean, just going back to the first part is the way that I would say just like dating and relationships like that now and how convoluted it is, you don't have to worry about that here. You can definitely, go on chat. You're more comfortable, you're more relaxed, because it's a pain in the ass, especially if you're not social and you have like anxiety and you can't go up to a bar and you can't chat to somebody. That's completely overwhelming than being, behind screen or phone, and then you're able to chat that way. The con to that would be, I guess it would be variety, because there's so many different girls that you can choose from. So you may be able to find yourself, because you say like it's a girlfriend experience, right? But you might be thinking like, man, these are like girlfriends like experiences. So you could be diving into like different types of like, like women. So, you might be choosing her right here, but then, in 30 minutes, you're like, all right, I got her right there. So it's like basically, you're picking so many different type of variety, which I think that's what men want in general is variety, but it's just different types with that. I think that would probably be like the main con. And also too, like, you do got to be careful, because, sure, like, you're paying. So like, you don't, if you're not careful and you're not on top of it, you can find yourself burning through a lot of resource that you made. So you do have to, keep that at an arm's length too as well. But at the same time, if you go back to having a girlfriend in real life, you're still going to be burning through and giving up that money too. So, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of give and take for that.
You bring up such a good point, which is that, you can kind of learn about the types of women that you like, and figure out different things that you like in this way, and kind of quickly, because there is such a large variety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also too, I would say you also, I'd say a little bit of a con to that another con would be it's not physical. So the things that you wanting to do, you wish she was right there next to you and y'all were doing it. So, like I said, it's just a little bit of the whole variety. Just to go back to the whole variety thing, that's a little bit of both a pro and a con. It's not necessarily a con, but yeah, it's just you're wishing that person was there to do that stuff with you, but they're not. If you really think about it, the pandemic changed that completely. Like, that already put us there, because depending on how you felt about going out and meeting people because of safety, a lot of people didn't want to go out. So, it really, what would I say, like, exacerbated that process, because now everybody's online, with any type, whether it's Zoom, Google, whether it's, on these platforms, because they are wanting that connection, but they don't want to go out and get it because of their safety. So that already gave us it gave people kind of like I wouldn't say like a heads up, but already just laid out that format for us too.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you, how much did you use the platform during the pandemic?
Like May and June. So basically like pretty heavy in like those 2 months.
Do you feel like it was helpful in meeting some of those needs when you were feeling?
It was, because I didn't want, at first, I was one of those people that didn't want to go anywhere. So I like stayed in the house, and over time I'm like, screw this. I got to meet people like socially, like, come on, I need that. But during that time, it was like, yeah, I need to talk to somebody, like I need to do that. And it really helped. It also helped too with, I wouldn't say like confidence level, but I guess with the type of person that like I am, and like the personality I am, I wanted to meet these girls like in person. So I would do like cam to cam stuff and try to open myself up a little bit more to that too as well. So that was very beneficial.
I want to talk about that. Yeah, because really, I mean, one of the huge benefits that I see from platforms like Jasmine is that you almost can practice, so to speak, certain skills or social skills or whatever it is online, and then translate that into meetings in person, and people that you do know in your day-to-day life or are meeting.
Yep.
Do you feel like you had such positive experiences, maybe relating with certain models, and then you did feel more confidence when it came to women in your day-to-day life?
Oh, absolutely. Because well, here's the thing, like most of the time they're gonna ask you if you have a cam. And at one point I would be like, nah, I don't. Because I always been like, well, what are they gonna think about when they see me? Like, what if I look like? It's kind of like that, that like feeling insecure about that. And then all of a sudden I was just like, you know what? Nah, let's just go for it. And it's been positive. They're like, oh wow. And I am going to bring this up, but it's apparently because of me being Black. It's kind of like these models are like, oh my gosh, like, wow. I don't know, like they've never even seen one before or whatnot, but like it kind of like makes them feel even more like makes it like more fun that way. And plus too, they get to see like my personality part of that too as well. So like the smiling part, the the laughing part. So they get to see that too as well. So transferring that out into like the real world, for sure, like that helps me because it's like, oh well, what am I really concerned about? You know what I mean? Like I can still go and approach, I can still go talk. And this not necessarily be a girl, but just like in general. So it does help, with that. So at home it's like, being comfortable, but then when it helps when I'm out and about. So yeah, it's pretty positive that way.
That's incredible to hear. Seriously, that's
Yeah.
so incredible. Do you have a favorite memory on Jasmine?
Yeah, there was one. It was when in 2020, because I got actually COVID, I got it bad.
Mhm.
So it was like, the extreme like hospital, all that other stuff.
Oh,
Almost death. Almost.
ventilator and everything?
I didn't need a ventilator. So I actually had I had pneumonia. So I had pneumonia on top of that, hospital 4 days. Like it was insane. And that was like before that, during the time that I was on LiveJasmin, chatting, whatever. So that was a crazy time. And one of the models that's still one of my favorites at the time, I was like, hey, sorry, haven't been, because I think she was trying to reach out to me. And I was like, hey, sorry, I got hit with it. and she was like, oh my gosh, like concerned, like they're like, oh bad. She's like, well, is there anything I can do? I remember this. Is there anything I can do to make daddy feel better? Like, fill me up already. Like, come on, like just make it work. So yeah, so just her responding back to that, just saying, oh, you okay? And then just saying, I want my daddy feel better. And I'm just like, all right, let
Yeah,
me see what I can do. So that was pretty cool.
that's so sweet. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
especially when you, like you said, you've been going through it, and then just to have that, like, just that's a pretty loving response.
Yeah.
As someone who's had experience with the site for 10 years, on a scale of 1 to 10, in general, how positive would you say your experiences have been, rating them? Or what percentage do you feel is positive? And you can give me an honest answer. You don't have to say anything just because I'm working for the site.
Well, it's not a 1 and it's not a 10. But
Okay.
I would say it's a close 10. I would say maybe be like a 9.5, I would say.
That's really great to hear. So you
Yeah,
would say in general, most of your experiences over the last 10 years have been positive.
exactly. I would say so, yes.
If you could put into one word the experience that you get from Jasmine, if it's fun, pleasure, joy, connection, what would it be?
I'm probably at 3. Um,
That's fine. That's
um,
fine.
I would say pleasurable because like we talked about before, it's having that girlfriend experience, that digital girlfriend experience, right? And also to open-mindedness, because I think this also has something to do with a little bit of me way back when being a webcam performer. Never thought I would ever do certain types of stuff, and also too, like in my private life, but like having the ability to, you know, experience things with models that I never thought that I would ever do, and also the receptiveness of it, and just like the fun and the fun that just like comes out of it, you know what I mean?
So pleasure, open-mindedness, and fun.
Fun, yeah. So that's probably like 4. Well, open-minded it's a compound word, right? So it's
Yeah,
not
we
one
can
word.
count it as one. Yeah.
Yep.
There's hyphens in there connecting them.
Hyphen, yep. Yeah.
I do like to end the interviews with one final question, which is just, what is something you're the most grateful for in your life right now?
Being alive.
Love
Being alive 2 years ago. Actually, it's coming up. That was a big scare, but I would just say, yeah, just to be here.
that.
Otherwise we wouldn't be having this interview. But I would say that's one of the things that I really grateful about.
Absolutely. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to do this interview with you. So it's been great.